Yo, what's good, Spirit Squad? It's your boy Dre. Today, we're going to talk about the top 5 best Spirits and Spirits cards to come out of Strixhaven. So, now, of course, we are just a couple of days from release, so that's pretty exciting, and we are going to start off with an honorable mention. That is going to be Blood Age General. No, I'm fucking with you. That card's terrible. It lacks all of the redeeming qualities of Supreme Phantom. This is nowhere near playable in, honestly, even a casual Spirits list, I think. Like, this card's just bad, and it should feel bad about itself. Sorry, Blood Age General, but this ain't it, Chief. However, we do have some very real cards coming. So, coming in at a hot number 5, Pilgrim of the Ages is almost exactly the type of card that you will pretty much never see in a traditional Spirits deck. But it could easily find its way into like a standard blue-white control list or something, because going to fetch a plains from your deck and being a recursive threat are both things that control decks really want. All those decks generally want is to have something to make sure they can continue to hit their land drops so that they can win all of these control mirrors that they're playing, and it's a recursive threat at the same time. So if you end up seeing Pilgrim of the Ages as a 2 or even a 3 of in blue-white control sideboards post-Strixhaven, don't be surprised, you heard it here. Coming in at number 4 is actually going to be a combat trick. It's Make Your Mark. And for just 1 white mana, I mean technically red too, but realistically 1 white mana, whenever one of your creatures dies, you can point Make Your Mark at it and you'll end up with a 3/2 spirit token. It's on Tribe, 3/2 for 1 mana is actually pretty respectable, and it gives you a real threat that your opponents do have to respect post sweeper, post removal spell, post whatever. And a lot of the times, if your opponent's pointing a spell at, say, I don't know, Mausoleum Wanderer or Spectral Sailor, a 3/2 is probably bigger than what they killed anyway. So this card will probably be playable in more than one format. Like, it could see play in Historic. It could see play maybe even in Pioneer, because like a lot of people are playing Supreme Verdict there, and if they have a Supreme Verdict and you just go, I don't know, like Selfish Spirit is one way they have to respect it, or Spell Queller they have to respect it, or now Make Your Mark. So now you have a bunch of different options that you'll end up being able to deploy to make it so that even your opponent's best sweepers can still just do nothing to you sometimes. If anything, this might actually take the place of Selfish Spirit in specifically Pioneer blue-white spirits, and hear me out. So the best deck right now is blue-black control, and then there's a bunch of other decks as well. So there's like Niv Mizzet, there's regular blue-white control. Okay, so now that we like know all of those, we also know that like none of the sweepers that are coming from those decks usually use the word destroy on them. So like Selfless Spirit a lot of time actually just doesn't really have text. So Shadow's Verdict is what it is. That card exiles, but we have Mausoleum Wanderer. That part's fine. However, if they play like Hour of Devastation, if they play Languish, if they play a Supreme Verdict, then all you're holding up is like, I don't know, say like Lofty Denials, because you only have so many Selfless Spirits. If they have any of those things, then you can respond to any of those things with Make Your Mark. And through Languish and through Hour of Devastation, Selfish Spirit doesn't do anything, but Make Your Mark will. So maybe that's something to be explored. We'll find out. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Hofri Ghostforge, who isn't even a spirit, but giving all of your spirits +1 and haste, I mean, yeah, sure, trample, whatever, but haste is actually real game. Like, that's a real magic card that you would want to cast on purpose sometimes. Even if it costs 5, it's still like close to being playable-ish. I don't know, I can see it. I don't think I'll try it, but it could be a real thing. But the cooler part about Hofri Ghostforge is that all of your cool spiritsy stuff must be respected twice. So like, if they're trying to play sweepers against you, you have a Selfless Spirit, now you have 2 copies of Selfless Spirit. If they're trying to unlock a spell that you locked out with Spell Queller, now they have to unlock the same spell twice. Because like, what happens is they kill your Spell Queller, their spell goes back on the stack because they are casting it, but now you're going to get the Hofri token that's a Spell Queller, so it's just going to re-exile the same spell. So they actually have to do a lot of work to be able to kill your board through a Hofri. And even though Hofri isn't a spirit himself, still you get to be an honorary spirit. You're not looking too bad. So our next one is going to be number 2 at Venerable Warsinger. So Venerable Warsinger is exactly the kind of card that will see play in multiple decks in multiple formats. You know, just getting really sweet card advantage off of a Vigilance card is exactly the kind of combat master that you would really love to have in most of your decks. The only problem is that it's got trample instead of flying, and for us that's a pretty big turnoff. So we won't be the one playing him. But getting creatures back in graveyard to hand is just like a strong effect anyway, right? And if you put this card in something like, say, Red White Feather, then you get to get back things like All Seed of Life's Bounty, you get to get back like Selfless Savior, the dog, and those kind of effects are really good in a deck that already wants an effect like Trample, already benefits from something like Vigilance, and you're already playing pump spells, so that sometimes you can get things that even if there's a blocker put in front of you, Venerable Warsinger with Trample can still have the potential to just like get something back. And when you get to rinse and reuse cheaper creatures like Alceids and like Selfless Saviors, Venerable Warsinger actually looks pretty damn good. Just not in Spirits. And our number 1 card here is gonna be Proctor. So this is the one spirit that actually has a bunch of potential to see play in multiple formats. Of course, it's not even good in the Spirits deck. Like, this thing is the anti-Spirits spirit. Like, it shuts down Wanderer, it shuts down Rattle Chains, it shuts down Spell Queller, it shuts down Skyclave Apparition. This thing is seriously like the Uncle Ruckus of Spirits. Like, it's flying, it counters something, it's a 1/3, it costs 2, that's everything that you generally want on a spirit, except this thing, for some reason, hates spirits. Go on with your Confederate flag wearing self. Anyway, Proctor. Probably the best spirit to come out of Strixhaven, but Strixhaven not overall too friendly to spirits. I do look forward to seeing some people build other decks, though, with a lot of these cards. Like I said, Control with Pilgrim of the Ages is actually pretty interesting. Blood Age General should never be sleeved. And if there's some kind of combo with Hofri Ghostforge or something that I'm not seeing, because I typically don't play creature combo decks, so I just don't know yet, then that could be interesting. Like, I don't know, like some 1+2 creature combo is probably a real thing. And Warsinger will probably slot in just fine into the, as like maybe a 2-of or something, into the Boros pump spell decks. So the ones of those that are playing like Feather instead of Luris could also try to slot in copies of Venerable Warsinger, we'll find out. But that's going to be my top 5 best cards from Strixhaven. If you think I missed any of the spirits, or if you think this ranking list should go differently, let me know in the comments. And as always, if you like what you're watching, make sure to like the video, sub to the channel. I will see y'all on the next one.